Welcome to Post Game on the Pitch. I'm Osvita Mara of CascadiaSports.net. Brandon Brown of Eli Sports. What's going on, my brother?
Not much. Just trying to avoid the heat. It's hot out here.
Hey, I'm still keeping my hat on. You already know. So I'm going to do this with the hat on. That's right. Because we like to have fun while we give fruitful information, some inside tidbits and whatnot. Tidbits, information, too. What are you taking away from this?
First goals and run of play is the first thing that really stands out, and it was kind of a shaky defensive effort from the Sounders. We've seen them through 10 games be so solid on that back line, and today a little crack in the levee, not anything to quite panic about yet, because you expect that from a rivalry game that, you know, the visitors are going to play hard no matter what their standing is, but it was definitely not the best defensive performance for the Sounders today.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but a week ago.
You told me so. Hey. Oh, you're not gonna tell me, but you're gonna tell me in the press box told you
Absolutely.
so. Okay.
So fair enough. No. Well, what? And the reason why like you said, it's a rivalry game, and Vancouver comes in here, and are you? I mean, are you worried about the goal? The two of them that want to play, concern or not?
Well, the one that stood out was the one that should have been cleared away. That kind of possible handball, but that's a different discussion. But the ball came in and it was just missed by Shane O'Neill. His head, I mean, that's just a play that you would usually get him to see a clearance on, and just kind of whipped on it, and still it led a little bit strangely to a goal, as I said. And then the second one was Stephen Cleveland is coming so far off of his line. You got to corral that if you're going to come that far out. And Coach Schmetzer talks about it. You know, they're really going to work with the goalkeepers to not make those mistakes again. But that's something you don't see out of Stephen Fry that you do see sometimes out of Stephen Cleveland.
And that's an experience thing, whether you're Major League Soccer or the Euro. A goalkeeper then begins, because he can't touch the ball with his hands once he's outside of the goal box, the handball. But he can't. So now he's got to learn the experience of, like, am I in, am I out? How am I going to do that? So it's a progression thing to what you said. Raul Diaz scores again, big time goal. What are you seeing in Raul Diaz?
Ninth goal of the season, and he was at that time of the goal was in the Golden Boot chase. He was the front runner, but of course Chicharito scored 2 goals today against San Jose, so Chicharito in front by 1 with 10 goals. But the goal itself and him in general, he knows how to find the pockets. You think about, in NFL terms, the wide receivers that sit in a pocket and just sit and wait. They know the quarterback's going to find them. That's Raul. We saw him in that play where the started with Atención taking the dispossessing and then getting it, dropping off to Brad Smith, and you see Ruiz he sees with Brad Smith, they kind of make that eye contact. He just drops back, and Brad Smith perfectly finds him. Rui Diaz just perfectly finds those spots, and he puts it at the back of the net.
Well, you brought it up. Chicharito, how fun is that now that you've got these guys gunning for each other for a Golden Boot?
Yeah, well, you think of Portland as a rival, you think of Vancouver as a rival, but outside of those quote-unquote derbies, you think of LA Galaxy as the next big rival for Seattle. So really having a player at the top, number 9 for Chicharito, number 9, Rui Diaz in Seattle, having those two clash for the Golden Boot. I mean, I think for MLS, having 2 of your biggest clubs have their 2 biggest stars go at each other is just great, and I think it's a great environment. We'll see how it plays out, but it's fun for the MLS to kind of have a rivalry going on between 2 players as well.
Yeah, and it's like, to your point, it's good to see the LA Galaxy back. Yeah, all y'all got to remember, it was David Beckham and everybody else that came and brought up the LA Galaxy, which had MLS, and then the Sounders used to go back and forth, Ziggy Schmidt and whatnot, and those kinds of things. But now, going back to the 2 strikers here, they're both the same type of player, would you say?
I would say, yeah. I would say they're very identical. Chicharito had that off year last year, and people were writing him off, and you know that's dangerous to do. You know, he has so much experience at the national level. He's been in Europe. He's been everywhere. He's a great number 9, and him and Raul Ruiz, as you said, play very similar games. And him having a bounce back year and now competing with Raul it's like I said, it's great for the MLS, which is a league that's growing. To have a big name like Chicharito playing well, it's just big.
Yeah, their ability, like you said, to sit in the pockets and whatnot, a Tyler Lockett type of thing against the zone where he's going to go 10 and go in and sit past the linebackers, but in front of the safeties. So that's exactly to you. I'm just repeating great knowledge, just sitting in there. So but also they are lethal finishers.
Yes.
Point blank range. I mean, they're classic assassins inside the box. You know, once in a while they might miss or a goal save, but don't give them 2 chances.
No, and when we saw that today, Raul easily could have had the game winner, and it was just a sprawl out block by Perry by Vancouver's keeper. And I mean, that's could have been the difference right there. And there's a lot of differences in the match, but you give that 9 out of 10 times, Raul's going to put that in the back of the net, but just an excellent save by Vancouver kept this as a draw.
And we did say post game on the pitch, and we're like, oh, the pitch is almost there.
Inching closer.
In fact,
Yeah.
Next week, we're breaking the news here. The Us Media, which means your access, we get to go back to talking to the coach live, which means right now we're doing a Zoom conference. So things are opening up. Everybody's continuing to taking care of business. But let me get back. Forget the political announcement. Getting back. So next post game on the pitch will be on the pitch next week. Josh Asensio.
Yeah.
What did you see from the young man?
Developing very well. The young talent coming up on this squad is very good. You see Leyva, Atencio, you think of these players coming up. Atencio's here. He was great, and as I said, he was crucial. He was the reason that goal, that jailbreak goal, as you called it, happened, because he got a dispossession in the midfield. He was able to come up big, but then he quickly got back on his feet, sprinted down the field, and that's why he was able to get the secondary assist, Brad Smith, to Raul Ruiz-Diaz. I mean, he is playing extremely well, and he's talked about it. This was the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of, so he's only going to get more comfortable playing in big crowds and coming up with big moments.
Yeah, and I mean, it's their speed. It's the Lake Show basketball, and
Yep.
you announce basketball,
Yep.
and I do a little reffing, but it's get the outlet pass, get the Lake Show.
Yep.
The way back when the Lakers did the Lake Show. All right, enough of the basketball and football. Now we're just getting back to the soccer here. Is the 3 draws at home a concern for you?
For the first time, I'm gonna be pessimist. Yeah, a little bit. We're starting to see that, you got to pick up these points. As Schmetzer pointed out in the post game, the back half of this schedule is mostly on the road, and when you're trying to get that chase to get the top points in the league and get the supporter shield, and trying to finish at top so you can host another MLS Cup and host the playoffs here, you got to pick up points at home in front of your own crowd. And yeah, they're going to open up to full capacity next match, and everything's going to seem normal, but you're going to start to play away from Lumen Field quite a bit. And as Schmetzer again said, it is hard to get road victories in the MLS. They've gotten quite a few so far to this point, but it's going to be even more important for them to win away now because of the performances here at home.
I'll be the optimist.
There's a little change.
Absolutely. Look, they're 7-0-4. They're
Yep.
still undefeated, 25 points. So that means they haven't lost it on the road.
Yep.
Well, means they haven't lost at home either. So they are still the only undefeated
Yep.
team in Major League Soccer, and they get a little bit of a break. They don't play until July the 4th at Colorado.
Which is much needed, because playing 3 matches in a week.
Yeah, Wednesday,
span.
Saturday,
Yeah,
today's
yeah,
Saturday.
and the heat, so they avoid the heat that's coming in even more this week. So it's a much needed break, and hopefully start to get Ladero and some of these players back. You think about Nuhu as well, who's a match decision, wasn't he? Especially was saying. So get some players back right into the fold. It's a nice time to get a little bit of break and give a rest to the players that are pretty much running on fumes right now.
And you ain't got to tell me nothing about the he. He is Brandon Brown of Eli Sports. I'm Osvita Maria for Cascadia Sports. So we'll do it again when we come back home.
Sounds good. Was it the 5th, right?
Well, it's away.
Away, but we're back here. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't
We're
know
back.
when it is. Yeah, I mean, July the 4th was far enough.
Some media we are.
Right, exactly. Well, we didn't do our prep notes.
Yep.
But here's what we'll guarantee you. When the Sounders play the next home game, you already know we got you on post game on the pitch.